be honest. That's all I'm asking. You're not being honest. You're not even crying. Prove to me that you care. Maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe you're drinking water. I don't understand. So, water's missing. I'm telling you, there's blood now. Not one tear is falling from your face.
In this video, we are going to investigate a crazy, psychopathic killer who claims that her father and 6-year-old daughter have gone missing.
Meanwhile, a tragic and shocking end to a missing persons case in Polk County. A mother is suspected of killing her father and 6-year-old daughter. As Jake Peterson reports, the investigation started when she filled out a missing persons report.
The year was 2015 in Polk County, Florida. The local sheriff's office received a call from Cheyenne Jessie. Cheyenne reported that her 6-year-old daughter, Meredith Jessie, and her father, 50-year-old Mark Weekly, had gone missing. Cheyenne claimed that the two were last seen on July 15, 2015. Cheyenne told detectives that she last saw her daughter on July 18th when she was dropped off at Mark Weekly's house. She also showed them a few text messages that her boyfriend Cody received from Mark. Mark had told them that he had been diagnosed with a terminal illness and that he wanted to spend the time he had left on this earth traveling with his granddaughter. He had supposedly told Cheyenne and other family members that he wanted to be left alone and that looking for him was a bad idea. In the text messages, he also wrote that he would leave everything he owned to Cheyenne, including his house. When detectives asked why Cheyenne hadn't called them sooner, she said she wanted to respect Mark's wish to be left alone. The detectives got a bad feeling. Something didn't add up, so they invited her in for questioning. Detectives have one priority in this case, and that is locating Mark and Meredith and making sure they're safe. The interrogator wants to get a read on the family dynamics, especially between Cheyenne and her daughter Meredith, who had previously been treated for unknown psychiatric issues.
Tell me about you and your daughter's relationship. What do y'all normally do together? I know she has issues.
Well, every time I go to try to tickle her, like, moms do, and try to love on her and stuff, she turns to violent towards me. She's knocked my glasses off or they've broken up here. Several times she's choked me. She actually punched me in the stomach.
I know that your daughter has issues. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you classify you and your daughter's relationship, 10 being the best?
I was trying to make it at least an 8, but she...
But realistically,
about
it's
5.
5. I think it's better for you and your relationship with Cody if she's with your dad.
Well, we've actually been able to focus on our relationship instead of constantly looking over each other at what she's going to do next, what she's going to destroy.
So it does make our relationship better.
Yeah, we're not under a lot of
Does it make
stress.
you feel better if she's with your dad because she's better off, I guess?
Yeah, I can actually sleep at night. But lately I haven't been able to sleep because I've been worried sick because I ain't been able to hear from him.
Okay. On Wednesday, you work Wednesday?
Yeah.
And that's when you got home and your boyfriend, Cody, said something, I'm sorry, or something?
Yeah, and I'm like, what? He goes, go over there, sit down. And he let me read the text message about Dad having cancer. And then I seen down on the phone where it was 20th he texted it going to Georgia. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I don't know what to say about this. I said, I don't know either. This is weird.
He texted him on the 20th
Yeah.
and said he's going to Georgia?
Yeah.
He didn't tell you that?
Sometimes when we go to work,
Mm-hmm.
he's normally like sleeping in the car on the way to work.
What about when you pick him up?
When I pick him up, we normally don't really talk that much.
At this moment in the interrogation, the detectives are confused by Cheyenne's random and inconsistent statements. She makes a bizarre statement out of the blue about her father's girlfriend, and she claims that she might have a connection to the disappearances.
What do you think happened to your dad?
I don't know.
What's your gut feeling? What do you think?
I'm afraid that maybe he didn't leave Florida and he went over to his house and she did something. That's what I'm feeling.
She did what?
I don't know, because she's I don't know, I feel weird when I'm around her.
Okay, what do you think she did?
I think she might have hurt them or something, or maybe she has them in her house.
You know where your dad is and where your daughter is. Okay? And if you love your daughter and your dad, I would think that you'd be honest about it.
I am honest, I don't know where they are at all.
I'm going to tell you that when we find your dad and your daughter, assure you that we're going to know what happened to them. We're going to know how they got there. Is there going to be any evidence whatsoever to suggest that you had anything to do with their disappearance? Nothing? Nothing. What happened?
I left my daughter with my dad.
What happened? I know you left them with your dad. What happened?
I don't know.
If you're not honest, if we find out you had something to do with the disappearance with your father and your daughter, it's going to make you look like a horrible person. Do you think you're a horrible person?
No.
Yes or no?
I feel like a horrible mother let my dad
Do you
take
think
her.
that you're a horrible person in general?
No, I do everything that God, and I do everything like I work hard, I try
Okay,
to
well
do
then keep
everything.
doing it. Then keep doing it, being a good person, because right now you're not.
The detectives told Cheyenne that they needed to go to Mark's house to gather more information. Cheyenne seemed annoyed at that. She told detectives there was no need for them to go there because she had already checked it herself. But detectives said to her that the first step in any missing persons case is to go to the missing person's house or last known location. When they arrived at the house, they noticed a car in his driveway. The detectives checked who the car belonged to, and they quickly found out that the car belonged to Mark. They then asked Cheyenne if Mark had any other cars, and she said no, the doors were locked, but Cheyenne had a key to Mark's house. She unlocked the door, and they all went inside. They were immediately hit with a smell so bad, it could only mean one thing: death. While looking through the house, they found multiple scented candles. They felt someone might have tried to get rid of the odor of death. Detectives also noticed that some of the furniture was covered in sheets, which is common in some households. But when they pulled the sheets off of the sofa, they were met with a large, not-so-common brown stain. It also looked like someone had cut the sofa with a knife, but Cheyenne seemed willfully oblivious to all of this. When asked about the smell, she said she didn't notice it, and when asked about the bloodstains on the furniture, she suggested that the stains were probably from food. Detectives now got the feeling that Cheyenne knows a lot more than she's telling them.
Did you find out what that smell was?
Well, I did find some rats and stuff, and I threw them away.
You found some rats?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that the smell?
Yeah.
Where were they?
They were in the kitchen.
Did you identify the smell as the dead rats?
Yeah, and
You
they
threw them away right then?
yeah.
Was that the only thing that was smelling that y'all threw away?
No, I found a coon underneath the house. I took it out and threw
You
it
found a
out.
what? A raccoon?
Yeah.
A dead one?
Yeah.
Underneath the house?
Yeah.
How'd you find that under the house? Why'd you look under there?
So I was trying to figure out where that smell was coming from.
Okay. How did you look at the house? How'd you do it?
My dad's flashlight.
How far did you have to crawl under there?
I took a big long thing and shoved it underneath there to pull it out.
What did you use to pull it out?
It's like one of the things that you throw when you cut trees with or something. Like
A pole saw?
yeah, that thing.
When a person is lying and they're thinking about the story as they're telling it, it's really hard for that person to recall those facts when the detectives come back to it. In contrast, a person who's telling the truth doesn't have a hard time remembering their story because it's what happened. It's clear that the interrogator has some doubts about the raccoon story, so he will try to dissect that part of her story now.
Like pots and pan in the sink.
That were dirty?
Yeah,
Why didn't you wash those?
I just touch it.
But
And
you'll,
those nasty water. I don't.
but you'll touch a dead raccoon?
I like tongs. I use.
What tongues?
There was some tongs that my daddy keeps in his drawer.
Where's the tongues at now?
Threw them away
Where?
in the trash can.
Oh, let's take this slow. I want you to sit up.
The interrogator aims to increase the pressure he's putting on Cheyenne by moving in closer. More intensity results in a higher probability of the suspect crumbling and revealing more information than they would like, but he needs to be careful because it could backfire and cause her to completely shut down.
Did you pull out a raccoon from under the house?
Yes, sir.
And why did you do that?
But it stunk.
Okay, and where did you throw
I just threw it.
it? You just threw it where?
Like it sounded like it hit the woods.
But do you remember telling me that you used tongs to take the raccoon because you said you weren't going to touch it? Do you remember
Yeah.
saying that? Well, why did you say that? Because it's not true, right? Cheyenne? It's not true. See what I'm saying? If you're concerned about it, be honest. Just be honest. That's all I'm asking. You're not being honest. You're not even trying. Prove to me that you care. Maybe you're dehydrated, maybe you're drinking water. I don't understand. So prove to me that you're a halfway decent mother and tell me the truth. Because this is not going away. Okay? This is not going away. You and I both know that you're lying. No, you're not. And I want you to sit up and look at me, please. Because that's not working, right? This little show is not working. You're not crying. There's not one tear. Your daughter's missing. I tell you, there's blood now, and not one tear is falling from your face. Let's go again. Let's call the water.
This is a perfect example of a good cop, bad cop. The one putting pressure on her has left, so the more gentle one can try to extract more information.
There's parts of your story. There's parts of this whole thing that's not adding up. Take the blue balls, Brian. You're not being truthful. You know it, and we know. No, but you're not telling the truth. Listen, you know it, and we know. I think it's easier for you to lie to us than tell us the truth. Because I think it's difficult for you to say. Just tell us the truth. I know it's hard. I know it's going to be real tough to tell the truth. I know you want to. I don't think you're a bad person.
I always had to defend myself from my daddy.
What's that?
I always had to defend myself from my daddy.
What does that mean?
Like he hit me so hard I couldn't hear in my ear when he kicked down the door when I was little.
Did it happen personally?
My
Were
dad.
you defending yourself? Yell at you? You drop Meredith on?
Yeah.
So if you have to defend yourself every time he yells at you because he's been abusive, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So was he abusive when you dropped Meredith off? Or just verbal?
Yeah, just verbally, and then he punches me those things. And he says that you're a horrible mom for just dropping your kid off and leaving. And a lot of things I just kind of blocked out of my head because my daddy is yelling at me again.
Cheyenne has just opened up about Mark's abusive behavior towards her. The interrogators will now use this information to extract the truth from her story.
Next question. Why did you ask Cody at Walmart how long it would take for maggots to eat a body?
I don't remember asking that.
Did Cody give you an ultimatum? Do you know what that means? Do you know what the ultimatum means?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Like, yeah, the chooses are best.
Did he give you that about your daughter? Did he tell you that?
Yes.
Okay. You love Cody so much, right? You want to marry him, right? Is he the love of your life? I hope so. Marry him. Okay? This man you do not want to lose, right? You even said your dad said you finally got to get a man, right? So you're proud of that. You don't want to lose him, right? But he threatened you that you're going to lose him if you don't do something about your daughter. He said, you better take care of this situation. You couldn't control it. You couldn't control it.
The interrogators have just figured out a possible motive for the murder. It seems as if Cheyenne was given a choice between her daughter and her boyfriend. Knowing that she is currently living with her boyfriend, her choice was clear.
So Cheyenne, look. So what happened to your dad when you read it?
I just remember yelling at him and he came at me, and that's all I remember.
At his house?
Yeah, I remember hearing like a boom.
Then what happened?
I don't remember. I was yelling as I was walking out the door. That's all I remember.
You know what happened? I know it's tough.
I can't remember.
After multiple hours of interrogation, the interrogators feel like they're only seconds away from a confession, so they push one last time to see if they can solve this case.
Where are they? You do know.
I don't remember.
Okay, but what happened when you got there? Did your dad get mad at you and come at you?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you do in return? You said you have to defend yourself. What did you do?
I hit him.
With what?
My hand, I punched him.
And then what?
He got pissed at me and I was on the floor and I don't remember.
And then you killed him. In self-defense. Did you kill him in self-defense, or did you do it because you're angry?
I don't remember. That's
Yes, you do. Where did you take your dad? Is he under the house? Is he in the woods? Where's your daughter at? What did you do with her? Did you hide her?
I remember my dad pushed my daughter really hard away from me. She was breaking up.
What happened? What happened when he pushed your daughter? Where'd she fly into?
She fell into the knife that he had, that he always carried.
She fell into the knife? He had a knife in his hand?
Yeah.
Did that hurt her? Well, she fell into, like, where did it hit her? Did the knife hit her in her neck? Did you see blood?
I don't remember that. I don't remember.
Did you try to get your dad off of her? Or what? What did you do next? What happened next?
I don't remember. I just remember that my daddy was on me.
If you're saying that this is a self-defense issue, okay, but just tell me the whole story so I can understand it. Did he come at you with a knife?
Yeah.
And then what did you do?
I kicked him in his balls, and then he got pissed off me once. He came at me like this.
With a knife?
Yeah, like, and I pushed it away. Like, he got this on, pushed it this way, and then my daughter was sitting this way, and that's all I remember is me pushing her away.
Like he had a knife in his hand?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're saying he's attacking you, you could do whatever you need to do to save your life. That's okay. I need to know that because I don't believe you black out.
All I remember is that he had blood on me.
You got blood on you?
Yeah.
Is your daughter, is she fine now?
Yeah.
Because did she get stabbed?
So I don't know, like,
Did you stab your daughter?
no.
Who stabbed your daughter?
My daddy did.
Who stabbed your dad?
I don't think the doctor.
Where did you stab him in the neck?
After a long day of interrogation, Cheyenne has finally confessed to the murder of her father in self-defense, and that her father accidentally killed her daughter. The detectives are now focused on recovering and finding the two dead bodies.
You're saying it's self-defense, so I need to know where you put them. Are they under the house?
No, they're completely because I didn't know what to do.
You're in the shed of the landlady's house?
The interrogators are still not convinced by her self-defense argument.
So I'm going to pretend I'm you. You don't have to really push me on the ground, please. But you fall back like this?
Yeah, I trip on my boots and go down like this on the ground and it slides out and then he comes above me and then I'm...
Is he straddling you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kick him in the balls and pieces of ball.
Where's he sitting on your body?
Right here in my abdomen.
Okay, so how did you kick him in the balls?
Like that, with this part of my fatty leg.
That's impossible.
He's grabbing a knife, trying to hold me down while he was doing it all.
So when your daughter got stabbed, he was sitting on you?
Yeah. He was like this, and I grabbed his arm and he went this.
I'll swing him, just throw him. And then,
Because he went like this, I went like that, and then I went like this.
okay, so you pushed out the way. And then, how'd you get the knife? The knife's still here.
Yeah, and then I caught like that.
That kind of hurt.
And then like that, and then I learned how he opened the
Did
knife.
you take karate? Like, where'd you learn this from?
Chloe taught me self-defense to protect myself,
Okay.
and I went to
So
MMA class.
karate chopped him?
Yeah.
Show me again? Don't really do it.
I went like that really hard,
And then,
and his wrists are sensitive, and then I got the knife out of his hand.
and he's still straddling you.
Yeah, and then he comes at me again, and I
How
turn
does
like this.
Tell me what I need to do. Like, he comes at you like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, and then I go like this, and
You move
I
on
took
there.
a punch in the face.
Okay. Your dad's tough guy, right?
Yeah.
Where did he hit you up?
Hit me right here.
You murdered your daughter.
No, I didn't. He was
Yes,
on
you
top of me, and I stabbed her because I was trying to get away from him.
That story doesn't even make any sense.
He came at
And the
me.
way you made it sound, Cheyenne, to be honest with you, like you're like a karate master.
It's clear to the interrogators that Cheyenne did not act in self-defense and that she stabbed her 6-year-old daughter herself.
Meanwhile, a tragic and shocking end to a missing persons case in Polk County. A mother is suspected of killing her father and 6-year-old daughter. As Jake Peterson reports, the investigation started when she filled out a missing persons report.
The mother, Cheyenne Jesse, reported the two missing to deputies yesterday morning. She said maybe they were in Georgia. Turns out they weren't in Georgia. They were just about a half-mile down the road at the landlord's house. In this storage shed is where deputies found the bodies of Mark Weekly and his granddaughter Meredith Jesse. Investigators say Cheyenne Jesse killed the two in her father's home around July 18th. A gun and a knife were used. Deputies say she hid the bodies inside the home for a few days, then put the bodies in totes. Eventually, she put the totes in this storage shed.
The jury found Cheyenne guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. The jury recommended the death penalty, but the judge cited her past of abuse and gave her 2 life sentences with an additional 5 years for obstruction of justice.